Hey guys, finally editing day 9. So day 9 is the day that we worked with the tarp, and like I mentioned in day 8, I was still wanting to really start incorporating him following me and wanting to be there and wanting to learn. So we started the evening out without the halter on. And I just wanted him to show general interest in the tarp in the beginning. I thought I finally met the thing that he would be scared of, and it wasn't the case. And then on it's actually day 20 that I'm editing this on. So I can tell you that I haven't met anything yet that genuinely terrifies this horse, because we worked on trailering on day 14 and he was a rock star. And day 20, which is the actual day I'm doing this voiceover, is the third time that I've done trailering with him. So he is really a deadhead, and he's my first Mustang, and I just thought I was going to be in for literally a wild ride, and that wasn't the case. So I was having kind of a bit of trouble keeping his attention, so I went ahead and put the halter on for starters to get us started. Oh wait, no, I was actually keeping his attention, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to get him to walk over it without coaxing him a little, so I went ahead and put the halter on. And I always make a big fuss about getting his hair straightened out because, number one, I'm a stickler about the hair being straight underneath of the halter the way it's supposed to be, but also it teaches him to let me mess with his ears and hair and stuff like that. So I always do that every time I put the halter on. So I started out by doing some more confidence building and having him follow me with it. But you'll notice that I'm still not really pulling on the halter and lead rope that much, because I want him to show his own interest in me and want to follow me instead of me making him follow me. And you'll see a lot in this video. This is the second day that I started working with him following me and showing interest in me, and I can see a big improvement just looking over these clips again, that he was doing so well. So here he's walking around it and is a little afraid of it. So all I did was I went ahead and walked him down to the green bull gate in the background, so that he didn't think that I just kept wanting to force him over the tarp. I wanted him to still follow me and show that he was still interested in me, because then I knew I could work with that in getting him to step on it. So there I just kind of kept having to straighten him out, because he could figure out that if I stood to the side, he could just follow me around it. And the reason why I'm standing to the side is because of the light and where Quint is sitting for videoing. I didn't want to block the video. And I didn't want to cast a shadow where he was going to be walking. I wanted him to be able to see it. So that's why a lot of the time we're coming from that back side, because I wanted him to really get a good look-see at it. And you can tell I'm just gently coaxing him. Most of the time there's slack in the lead rope because I wanted it to be his idea instead of mine. And since he did pretty good there, I kind of released and let him walk down to the other end, and he got some pats. Cricket was my little helper. He comes over to the barn almost every day because we thought it would be easier for him to get acquainted to dogs if we had Cricket there. And my big dogs will come over later. And he wanted to play with Cricket. But anyways, I want to introduce him to my dogs in the next week, probably, my big dogs. And they're actually calmer around the horses than Cricket is even, so I knew if he could handle Cricket, he'll be okay with the big dogs. It'll just be getting used to the sight of the big dogs. Because they're pretty respectful with the horses. Cricket ain't afraid to act like he is some big macho herd dog when he's just the little pipsqueak. I think here I was wanting to see if I could get him to walk over it without having the lead rope on. And to also work more on him coming to me. Yeah, that was kind of my goal, is having him walk on it without having the lead rope, so I could know for sure if it was his idea or mine. Oh, good boy. And he did really good. Good boy. You're like a little dog. Good boy. I don't edit very much of this dead time or whatever you want to call it, where like nothing is really going on, because a lot of these videos are for me, and I'm all about getting to see the full effect anytime I look back on my memories and stuff like that. Plus, it really gives a good idea to anybody who's watching this for ideas, or maybe you're thinking about getting a Mustang, or you're just interested in the process, whatever the case is. I like including as much detail as possible in the videos so that you can get that full effect. And this is, okay, so what I did before this that wasn't on the video, you didn't miss much. Guys, if I ever don't include something, you really didn't miss much. So I just started out by folding the tarp into a really small square and just touching his body with it, because he was already used to the noise and the look and everything, but I wanted to touch his side with it and his back and stuff, and he really did not care at all. Like, he just stood there. So I went ahead and just opened it up and threw it on like I did just there, and he did really good and didn't care. Because even though he's a yearling, my goal before the competition, I would like to have a saddle on his back and just having him getting used to things being on his back and stuff, because that's what I did with my halflinger. And basically by the time he turned 2, he was fully broke because he was just so trained and so used to everything that he didn't care. And the only time he would buck was just because he was excited, and it was no big deal. And I liked that about him. I hate horses that buck, but I really liked that about Bam Bam, my halflinger, because I don't know, there's just something about him. I just knew what I was getting myself into with him, and I really love his personality, even though he can be a little jerk sometimes. So as I got further along in this video, I went ahead and did some speed ups of us just walking around because it's really uneventful and he doesn't care about it at all. And like I said in day 8, I really needed to make myself pay attention to desensitizing the back end more. So that's what I'm doing a lot here in this video, is keeping it around his back end, and in a little bit you'll see I do a little more work around his back end, and I think he's coming along really nicely.
He hates me.
Here I thought this was funny because even though you guys probably can tell or from what you guys could see, it looked like he didn't care at all. But I've gotten pretty good about reading his signals and trying to read his body language and his facial features and stuff. And I could tell when he bent his head down and that thing came over his head a little bit and around his eyes. I could just tell he was a little uncomfortable, but all he did was put his head back up. So he did really good. And the wind just had like a slight breeze, so it just like barely float the tarp up into the air around him, and I thought he did really good with all that. And I just wanted one more time to do some more walks over the tarp, and I didn't get them on video at first, and he pawed, and so then I was like, oh, turn the video back on, like I want to get it on video of him pawing the tarp. I love him investigating the tarp and pawing at it like that, because then he gets to make the tarp move and he gets to make it make noise on his own, and I feel like that kind of gets him a little more involved and feels like he's making these choices on his own. And then I wanted to do some moving the tarp where it wasn't his choice and just kind of see how he reacted to that. And I do like that he's peeking at it and not really sure at first, and then he's like, oh yeah, I want to join in too. So then I wanted to do the same thing again and throw the tarp on him without the lead rope on. So that's what I did. More desensitizing around the back end and paying attention to that too. And right here, he kind of gained a little speed, and I thought, oh no, especially with the wind right there picking it up, I thought he was going to take off, but he didn't. Trying to draw him in myself. And I wanted him to get used to me throwing it from the other side too, so. And he was doing so good, I wanted to take it over his head for the first time, and since he reacted so well, I hid it behind my back and stepped back and let him approach me again.
Little Blue Riding Hood.
Same thing there. This is the first time I was throwing it under his belly, so you didn't miss anything of me leading up to that.
Good boy. Good.
And he did so good that I ended it there because he even let me throw it under him. So thank you guys for watching and stay tuned for the next video. Bye.